вот уже треть жителей США в возрасте от 18 до 24 лет верят, что Земля плоская, а почти 15% американцев в возрасте за 30 с ними согласны.
Никому не нравится чувство, что мы находимся на маленьком шарике, который несется сквозь Вселенную. Да, закроют программы с астрофизическим и космическим уклоном. Оставшиеся естественные науки, как биология, геология, океанология, археология и другие, должны быть полностью обновлены.
Hold him. Now you listen to me, you hillbilly punk who thinks the world's still round. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's flat!
He's an interesting guy, man, and, you know, he believes it, so. Kyrie, the earth is flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever.
That's news.
That's news. There we go.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with the mainstream scientific community. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is confused that he cannot pull flat earth news by sorted by date. That's not the best grammar in the world, but you know what? I just pasted it in from him, so thanks for that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues, except for maybe today. If you can't find it, well, I used to say you weren't very good at the internet, but that may have changed as of yesterday. For those of you listening to this on YouTube, you want to hear the show live as it happens, please go to Truth Frequency Radio for the latest schedule. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And if it is not August 21st, 2018, then you are listening to a rerun. Quote of the day from the Peanut Gallery: when truth is replaced by silence, the silence is a lie. And that was by some Russian guy, because I was not going to be able to pronounce that first or last name. It was just tough. I know I do a Russian accent, but it's the Russian words. That's a whole nother thing. The Mark Sargent 2018 Flat Earth Challenge is in effect. This is my personal declaration of war from Flat Earth against mainstream science. I, Mark Sargent, hereby put forth a challenge to any university, foreign or domestic, to loan me a NASA-approved self-contained spacesuit, put me in a vacuum chamber, and pull the switch. For more information on this, please check out Flat Earth Clues 13, The Lost Nail. Let's see. Do I have announcements? Before we get into the phone calls? Okay, so tonight we are going to do Jeffrey Grubb from Zeteticism.com. He's going to come on at, I believe, in an hour. And he's going to talk about his challenge to Kent Hovind, which is very similar to Rob Skiba's challenge to Kent Hovind. So I'm curious to see what's happening there. Until then, we are going to take calls. A couple standard announcements. First off, if you haven't checked anything out with, yes, I'm going to do the Google rant. Yes, Peanut Gallery says, make sure you do the Google rant. Yes, I will. I will absolutely do the Google rant before we do calls. The phone number to call in is 213-233-3998. That is 213-233-3998. If you're looking for something fun to do this fall, the Flat Earth International Conference in Denver, Colorado is going to be happening the second week of November. So you can check it out at fe2018.com. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to be going, and all sorts of people. And if you want to kind of know what we're doing, you can check out the recent conference that was in Edmonton in Alberta, Canada. And that's, you can just look up that. There's videos of that thing all over the place. We just got back from that recently. And I think all the speakers from there, 90% of the speakers there will be at the Denver conference, and then a whole bunch more. The Canadian conference was smaller because, well, Canada's smaller, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, and I will mention this later in the show, tomorrow is Wednesday, which means I'm going to be doing a secret show with Patricia Steer on her channel, Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. So the phone number to call in is 213-233-3998. Or the old number works fine too, which is 720-897-6111. If you're in the UK, you can call whatever country code plus 44-203-393-2871. And all these are listed on the TFR Truth Frequency Radios. You can just go to tfrlive.com and all that'll be listed for you. And the call in, if you want to call in and just listen and not talk to me and not have me pick up, but you can still listen to everything, that number is 605-472-9131. And the Peanut Gallery says, oh, yeah, have the welder call 605-472-9131. You know, I don't think he's going to. I think he's got me on speed dial, which is fine. Okay, so we're going to go into the rant real quick. And it's not, I just found out about this literally a half an hour before the show started, and I was stunned. The Peanut Gallery came through yet again and found something very, very interesting. Remember how recently, and people say, no, it's a coincidence, you're delusional, because YouTube tore down their scoreboard. The relevant search results is not there anymore. Literally, it's not like they had a big update to the software or anything. They literally just removed relevant search results. And the number, it's gone for all topics, whether you're looking at horses or potato salad or flat earth. It's fine, baby with the bathwater. You want to, apparently Flat Earth screwed it up for everybody. That's fine. I will take some responsibility for that. What happened, I think, either late Sunday or early yesterday was even a little weirder because I was initially saying, oh, well, I'll just rely on the Google numbers. And the Google numbers haven't changed, but there's something in there that has. And so I challenge all of you guys, if you're out there listening, if you have a laptop or a phone, pull this up right now. And it's going to be a little different on a Macintosh, so I'm going to explain it on the PC version because I'm staring at it right now. Go into Google. It's not any other browser but Google, which of course makes sense because Google is the parent company of YouTube. So you go into Google, you type in Flat Earth like you always do, right? And then you click on news like you always should do. Then do something a little bit different. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see settings and tools. If you click on tools, it'll pop up a little box. You can refine your search a little bit more. It always defaults to sorted by relevance. There's only two options there, sorted by relevance and sorted by date. And if you change it from relevance to date, tell me what you see. And that's how Peanut Gallery approached it to me. And I said, okay, fine. And when I did it, all of a sudden, it said something you don't see very often in Google. No matter what you type in, it says your search, Flat Earth, did not match any news results. That's it. That's it. It's really, really short. And you're thinking, oh, well, okay, there's a screw up in Google. And you're thinking, yeah, that's what I thought too. Maybe a little software glitch, maybe something, right? Except that it only happens when you use any combination of words that include flat Earth. So you could say Earth is flat, is the Earth flat, flat potato salad Earth, Whatever it is, they made the algorithm really, really simple. So if you type in, a couple words, little phrase, and you include flat and earth in that phrase somewhere, and you sort by date in the tools section of Google, it currently, right now, shows no search results. Now, does this hurt us? Not necessarily, because 99% of you are sorting by the default, which is relevance, and that's fine. It is a little sneaky, however, that if you want to do a refined search in the background, because now you can't sort by date. You can't sort the freshest stuff, because remember these sort of search parameters also filter into YouTube, and YouTube you can also sort by date, and that works fine. All the YouTube stuff is there except the scoreboard's toward down. This is very specific. So, and you're saying, okay, what's this mean? I mean, what I mean is you do the same thing, but you put Donald Trump in, or put potato salad in, or put George Clooney, or My Little Pony, or whatever it is, and sort by date. You are going to get results and results and results. But Flat Earth, for whatever reason, does not. That's curious. And you say, okay, is that foreshadowing to something else? I don't know. I just found out about 30 minutes ago. I've got to think about this one, and part of me wants to do a video on it, but another part of me says, oh crap, if I do a video on it, are they going to do even worse things? I mean, do I think that they're going to kill the Flat Earth searches in Google? No, because it'd be too blatant. The media would have to pick up on it. Although it would be interesting because, like, for example, let's say you did go in and destroy the relevant search results in the news feeds, and then the news media reported on it, kind of like they did with the Google Earth thing. If you saw that, where Google Maps now has changed to a globe instead of a pull back out to a Mercator map. If you even reported on this, what would your listing even show up? And that's the reason I don't think they can kill it entirely, because it's tricky. If let's say ABC News reported on this, the filter would filter them out too, and then ABC News would complain. So I don't think they can go so far with this. But it's very, very interesting, and I encourage everyone to test it out for themselves. And if you want to make a video on it, fine. I'm not going to press my luck on this. So, but again, only found out 30 minutes ago, and it is super interesting. Really interesting because, again, any other topic works just fine. Flat Earth, however, not so much. So take that for what it's worth. All right, let's go to the. By the way, we are going to be attempting, just so you know what happened last week. And I am going to pick up some callers. I'm going to pick up Colorado first, and then I think I'm going to grab 214 Dallas, Texas after that. Wait, Peanut Gallery's messaging me. He's saying, and it screws up my intros. Yeah, whatever. So last week, just so you know, I had some problems with phones, and that was directly tied to the latest version of Skype. Like with anything, when a conglomerate like Microsoft buys out Skype, they made some changes. Now, I wasn't a big fan of when they made it to where, even though I have a dedicated Skype number, they removed your ability to leave personalized voicemails. Come on. How hard is that? How problematic could that possibly be? But then they were trying to force upgrades on people. And when they were forcing the upgrades, so I upgraded to the latest and greatest version, which is more like a touchscreen type version thing. And I'm running a big tower with a big monitor. So that doesn't do anything for me. But for whatever reason, I couldn't pick up callers through it. They could hear me, but I could not hear them. Could not do it. We tried everything in the book. The initial test went just fine. So now, after downgrading, can we talk to callers? Okay, you ready? I'm gonna hold my breath a little bit here. I'm a little nervous about picking up this first caller from Colorado. Please let this work. All right, Colorado, you're the first caller. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank God. And I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
It's so wonderful.
Oh, good.
So what's yeah, well, at least for now, at least until they force me. I'm on a version 7 something of piping in through Skype. And so, hang on. And Peanut Gallery says, we good. Yep, everything's good. We're back to normal. So until Microsoft absolutely says you cannot use this version anymore, I'm going to use this version. So I apologize for all the problems we had last week. I thought I stuck it out pretty well, considering, and I wasn't even drinking. Tonight I am drinking a red wine. It's called Redhead Red. Again, take that for what it's worth. So what's on your mind this evening?
Oh, I just called the number. I didn't really have any questions or anything.
Oh,
I
did
was
you just want?
listening? But
Oh, okay. Well, no, I can put
um,
you on mute. I won't hang up on you. But if you have a little, what do you
all
got?
right.
Anything?
I met you in Colorado Springs at the Manitou Springs thing.
Right on.
Yeah, my name is Damon. I was at the Fort Collins group. I was with them, and now I live in Denver.
Right on.
So I'm going to start trying to start a meetup down here.
Cool. Well,
At a
as you
coffee
know,
shop, but I'll let you know so you can maybe make a promo. But I found one that I think I sort of like.
cool. I mean, like
Um,
a venue you sort of like.
It's a coffee shop, but they have like
Perfect.
multiple rooms,
Good.
and I think might work out good.
Excellent.
Um,
That's great.
we have another place that we've been having stuff here a little bit, once a month usually, at Goose Town Tavern in Denver.
Cool.
Other than that, what do you think about the micro universe? I know talking about
Size.
space and stuff. What do you think about microverse being fake stuff with viruses, like pictures of the viruses or pictures from electron microscopes?
Well,
or just the shape of the things, like the protons and things rotate around the nucleus. And
I'm a
stuff like
believer in the double slit experiment, even though science claims it for one of their own. And if you guys don't know what the double slit experiment is, I highly encourage you to look it up. Which is things don't exist unless there's an observer, and if the observer doesn't have the ability to see cellular things, right? Things on a micro level, are they really there? You know what I mean? And so, or do they manifest only when we're looking at them? Same sort of thing when you're looking up, at the sky. Does the sky have something called like Mandelbrot resolution? Same thing with cellular stuff, where it just increases, the resolution gets better and better as the technology gets better and better to see it. As the observer gets more detailed, so does the environment around them. That's what I believe in. So yeah, very possible. Sure. Why not? I mean,
have you ever heard about the thing with the electron microscopes being fake?
I don't think. No. I don't think they're fake. I just think that, again, I just lean back on the double slit experiment. And that is, when nobody's looking through that microscope, there's nothing there to look at. So that's my take.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, anything else?
Not really.
Okay. Cool. I will put you back on mute, so I won't hang up on you, and then I will move over to Dallas. Okay.
All right. Great.
All right.
Have a good night.
Yep. You too. All right. Let's jump over to Dallas, Texas. At least I think it's Dallas. 214 area code. What is going on?
Oh man, it's Scott here in Dallas. Actually, I'm in Garland, a suburb of Dallas, and I was the one who was calling in last week, and I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me, and we could hear other people on the line. Yeah, it was crazy and stuff going on. I was kind of being a little bit.
I'm sorry.
I was kind of being a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're stepping on each other.
I know. It's horrible. I hate it when that happens. I was just being a little bit more conspiratorial. I was like, yeah, he just got back from this thing and they're hammering everybody. I was like, yeah, this just goes figure because, I have my channel and stuff banned and everybody was getting banned right about that time. And I was kind of, really wanting to get your take on, what about, somebody really kind of, creating a email database. And, and just in case, because, what you can still catch of Jones when they're still, even when, he's on one place, they're wiping him out here and there, but, you can listen to some things, but, if, half the stuff is true, and because you got to admit, man, this is driving the narrative hard.
Right.
And when you start getting, the attention and the traction that this has garnered, yeah, I would definitely say it's going to have to come to a head. And when it does, it's probably not going to be in the favor of the optimistic.
Yeah, I hear you. At the same time, I have never seen, I was telling Peanut Gallery this a little while ago, I have never seen a topic which the powers that be react to as swiftly, if at all. You know, most topics, you know, you can bury secrets in the desert and no one will be the wiser. But with Flat Earth, for whatever reason, they seem to be extremely responsive to us. And everything that I've called out so far, I mean, especially in the last 6 months, they've been making these moves to where, you know, they're actually, it's kind of like they're trying to curb our enthusiasm and yet still let it go on. So, you know, tearing down the YouTube scoreboard, I thought that was extreme. But at the same time, it did stop me very directly from looking at the numbers, from looking at the stats. And then what happened yesterday, where, I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, where all of a sudden now one of the filters in the main Google search engine has been disabled only for Flat Earth, which is, it's amazing. I don't even know how to respond to it. I mean, I just found out less than an hour ago, and here we are. You know, like you said, we're coming to this weird head where, you know, will they have to, what if you try to attack Flat Earth directly, do you open up the can of worms and allow all the other conspiracies to spill out? And, you know, I don't think they want to do it. But anyway, go ahead.
The only rebuttal to that is they don't care.
They care. Oh, they care. They absolutely care.
If you go that far, I mean, Google is willing to, you know, deplatform tons and tons, you know, in a coordinated effort on a bunch of people, and
right.
So,
but
just
not
saying,
us.
you know, not yet.
Not yet, but at the same time, Google makes a lot.
That's the theme that's going around.
Google makes a lot of money off of us. People that watch Flat Earth videos, they stay in Google, they stay away from other networks and television and other platforms, and they watch a lot of Flat Earth videos. And
I get that. I mean, trust me, I get that. That's what I'm saying. It's getting too much attention too. So yeah. I'm just saying, what are your? I mean, wouldn't you think it might be prudent to have some way of, you know, putting something like that together? I mean, just as a prudent thought for like-minded people.
Don't sweat that too much. If worse comes to worse and Flat Earth is killed in the search engines for whatever reason, all we'll do is we'll turn it to code. We'll change Flat Earth into something else. You know, we'll make it a different term and then put it out there, and we won't need an email. I know what you want to do, and it's fine. It's prudent in a way, but I think it's unnecessary in this case because there's too many workarounds to get us out there. The community's too big. Alex Jones was a whole nother deal. You know, you were going after a guy, and he had a lot of topics that were, you know, really dicey right now. You know, it's really tough to cover fake shootings, and so going after a guy, that's one thing. Going after an idea, that's a whole nother thing. Remember, you know, all our planes could have crashed to the Edmonton conference, and Flat Earth would keep on going. I mean, people would be sad. It's like, oh yeah, we got to do a bunch of funerals for Flat Earth people, but it'd just keep going. They'd make martyrs out of us. So anyway, anything really quick, because I do want to pick up one more call before the break.
No, that's all I got for you, man. So anyway, have a great show.
All right, thanks, man. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's go. We're going to last call before the break, and then we'll do one more set of calls, and then we'll go to Jeffrey Grubb, and who knows, he might take some calls. Let's go to 202 area code. 202, you are on with Strange World right now from Washington, D.C. What is going on out there?
Hey, it's me. It's Tippy Long, walking on across this big old plain. Hey, Mark.
Oh my! Would this be
sister from DC?
Sister from DC. Tippy Long stocking, is it?
Tippy Long walking on the plane, baby.
Nice. What?
Look,
You're in a
Hey,
good mood. What's
Peanut
up?
Gallery. Hey, look. Ask Peanut Gallery, do he remember the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy?
Okay, I will ask.
Now I'm going to send you a line. Hey, Marcus, I don't have no gloves on. Eartha Kitt.
Nice.
Hey, Mark. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing well. How are you? You sound very, very well.
And very, very turned up. Mark, I thank you for calling me. Thank you for calling me like 3 or 4 weeks ago and reading my letter. You read my email on YouTube because you had ended everything. You said that was the best letter ever.
It was.
God bless.
It's an awesome letter.
And,
I don't get many people that say they're a flat Earth sister, and they actually spell it out SISTA.
That's right. You have to say sister.
Sister. Yeah.
Still, I ain't got no meetups in D.C. Whatever.
What? Okay.
But I want to congratulate you.
Go ahead. First,
go ahead.
First. No, you start.
I just want to congratulate you and your determination in getting the truth out. God bless you.
Well, thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. And for that, it's a challenge for anybody out there in the Washington, D.C. area. Please help a sister out. Please help.
How you doing?
help this fine woman find a flat Earth group that she can hang out with, so she can stop sending me letters.
We can go to during Starbucks. We can go to Chipotle's, McDonald's. I don't care.
I don't think you can go to
I
Chipotle.
wear my T-shirt. I wear my little T-shirt, Flat Earth. Do your own research. People look at me like I'm crazy. Hello. Well, I don't care. I'm still wearing my T-shirt.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Peanut Gallery says, Georgetown would be a great... Georgetown's not very far, right?
Oh, no. I can walk to Georgetown. That's fine. That's fine. Yes, indeed. But you know what? I'm not going to hold you long. I just want to holler at you.
Well, thank you.
And D. Marble still be my baby's daddy in another life.
Yeah, there's a lot of women that find D. Marble quite attractive. And I don't blame you.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Now that I have reached, I'm going to the left for a minute. Now that I have learned about flat Earth and everything, now I have to get in touch with Rob Skiba.
Yeah.
About the Sabbath.
Okay.
This is to all the flat earthers, the Christian flat earthers, about going to church on Sunday. I need to talk to Rob Skiba about Saturday or Sunday when to fellowship as far as the church.
Okay.
But,
All right. Well, if you have a question,
All right, it's time for break.
No. You got time. You have. We got 30 seconds. Shout outs. Go ahead. Go.
Okay. Shout out to Rob Skiba. Shout out to D. Marble. Shout out to Patricia Sear. Shout out to.
You can say family members too.
Yeah.
Have to be just us. Oh, thank you.
And shout out all to the flat earther closet people. Y'all better come out that closet. Y'all know we ain't spinning.
Preach.
Y'all know we ain't come from no big bang.
Go to church.
Out of nothing.
Testify.
Hallelujah. Love you, Mark.
All right. Love you.
Have a good one.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye, honey.
Bye-bye. All right. On that note, we're going to our first break. And when we come back, I think we're going to pick up New Mexico, then probably Middletown, New York, and then maybe Minnesota. Where's the music? Did anyone hear the music? I'm going to assume it's playing. Peanut Gallery, help me out. There it goes.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
Welcome back to Strange World Part 2 of 4. Tonight we're going to have Jeffrey Grubb come on, and that's in about 30 minutes, I think. So you got about 30 minutes to call, and then I don't know if we're going to take many calls because Jeffrey and I do like to ramble a bit, but you never know. Maybe if you got some questions for him. His channel is zeticism.com. He's got a giant brain and possibly the only man with a larger skull than I do. I would say brain, but then people would say brain power, and he does that. He has multiple degrees and a lot of really cool things. I do not, however. I was thrown out of university for, let's not talk about that right now. All right, we're going to go straight to the phones. Let's grab New Mexico. 505 New Mexico, are you with us tonight on Strange World?
Yes, Mark, what are your thoughts on biblical end times enclosed Earth cosmology? Mm-hmm. And do you believe that the Creator will drop the dome onto the non-believers, like cause the sky to fall, if they don't accept Jesus?
Well, okay. First off, normally I defer most of the biblical prophecy. I am not the absolute best at biblical prophecy. I do know quite a bit of it, though. I was raised born-again Christian, Vacation Bible School and Camp Malibu and youth group and all that fun stuff. When it comes to Revelation and the prophecies, I do believe in them. I do. There's too many things that fit in with flat Earth cosmology. Again, Rob Skiba's stuff is fantastic for that. It's a great website called testingtheglobe.com. But do I believe that that we are in is one of the big reasons why I believe in a dome, in an enclosed world, an enclosed pressurized system, because of all the things that are mentioned in the Bible. Do I think that he'll drop the entire firmament on the non-believers? Boy, that's a tough one, because you remember there's a lot of interesting passages in there, like the stars falling from heaven like figs shaken from a tree, which of course can't be possible in heliocentric cosmology, because that means these giant stars, which are hundreds of thousands of miles wide, even one of them would destroy the planet in an instant. But would pieces of the dome come down? Yeah, I do believe in that. Or things that are up there come down. Sure. Well, why not? I mean, do I have all the details? No, I don't. Which is why I also kind of defer to one of the non-canonized books, the Book of Enoch, and to a lesser degree, the Book of Jasher. But to answer your question, yes and no. Do I think non-believers will get punished? Yes, I do. But do I think it'll be directly connected to the destruction of the firmament? Tough one. I don't know. I'd have to defer to a stronger Christian than myself, to be honest. Does that kind of help?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. It's an interesting topic. I don't have all the answers. You mentioned the Book of Enoch, and with regards to the Apocrypha, can we go extra canonical without also acknowledging infancy and the stories of Christ as a child when he was openly practicing black magic and also murder? Or can we be cherry picking the books that aren't approved? I mean, it seems very sloppy. When I hear end times prophecy with the Bible, it's like not even scientific. It's just cherry picking, like Al Gore would do to convince us the sky is falling.
I hear you. And Christianity has been accused of that many times. As a matter of fact, most notably, all the pastors that are out there, like, for example, that hang on to one verse, which is, you want to talk the ultimate in cherry picking, they think it has veto power, and that is Isaiah 40:22. He who sitteth upon the circle of the earth. And they say, because of this one verse, that allows me to completely dismiss anything but the heliocentric model. And it's like, okay. But yeah, I got you. I can sense your frustration there, but that's more of a Skiba question on his show, or Zen Garcia or Robbie Davidson or those guys. I try to be more objective than that, because remember, for me, it's not just one religion. The big five, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, they all have pieces of the same puzzle here, and everybody knows that Islam and Judaism and Christianity share a bunch of the same stories. So I hear you. Anything else?
Yeah, I just find it curious that they all have a similar eschatology, like an end times. And I'm wondering, do we need end times? And even the official state religion, heliocentrism, has an end times, where eventually the sun's going to burn out, global warming, nuclear war, space junk, Armageddon, worldwide this or that. And it's like, do we need the doomsday? Does this news have to bring about it some type of apocalypse for non-believers?
No,
and a lot of people seem to think so, and I was just curious about your thoughts on it. Thank you for answering.
No, that's a great point, by the way, and that is, do we need an absolute? Boy, that's a great point. Do we actually? That could honestly be the title of a book. Somebody should write it. Do we need an end times? And I've kind of tried to stay with the whole glass half full thing. So for me, no. I still have said many times. I said, look, the way we're going with our particular group, this our civilization still has a chance to turn it into some sort of new golden age without turning it into the apocalypse. I don't think there has to be an apocalypse. It just seems that the powers that be, more often than not, want to turn it to the apocalypse. But yeah, it does get frustrating sometimes, because anyone that goes into Revelation immediately says, well, there's going to be an apocalypse. It's like, yeah, but
that's what worries me.
Yeah.
Is that we all have this script already, and so if they invent something new like fire NATOs, people believe in it. And so what if they roll out Project Bluebeam and suddenly God is up there telling us things? Well, enough people might believe it to make it dangerous. And so that's why I'm really against end times, whether it's global warming or the sky is falling in any format. But anyway, thanks for taking the call.
Oh, no worries. Have a good one. All right, let's jump over to New York. Oh, wait, I got this ready. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. All right, there you go.
I wish I could sing. Hello,
no,
Mark,
dude, you absolutely
I
could sing. I cannot sing. I can hum a few bars. You, I think, have got the voice to absolutely.
I have to do a Barry White song, right?
Yeah, you probably could.
I'll work on that.
Yeah. So what's going on in New York?
How's it going? It's crappy out. They sprayed. It's all gray tonight. Can't see any stars. At least it's not raining.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So I know you're getting ready. So you know that we have Jeffrey Grubb on the show later a little bit.
Yes.
That's cool. And then because he's going to be talking about his challenge to Kent Hovind, and I imagine you are a broken record right now, because every time I run into you, it's always the same thing. It's like, man, I cannot wait for the Denver conference.
Yeah, killing me.
Yeah, you really.
Canada looked so awesome.
Canada was awesome. It was really, really cool.
We had a great job.
Robbie did a fantastic job. The speakers did wonderful. We even powered through. God bless Patricia. We even powered through the bells at the end, and there's not many panels I know of that could absolutely just go through it. Because if we didn't, we would have had to sit there for 40 minutes. We sat there and wait, and still there was no guarantee. But she was great, and then the little mini retreat we had where all the speakers went up to a house and brainstormed and just kind of casually, just kind of took stock of everything for a couple days up in Calgary. It was fantastic. It was really, really fun trip. So what day? So you're going in?
I want to go to the Real World Flat House.
Yeah, I know. Didn't that feel like it? It was.
It was awesome. Awesome.
Really similar. Yeah. So take $1 million house and then put a whole bunch of flat earth speakers in it and see what happens. And
so cool.
I think I was the only one that drank every night. So.
Oh.
I know, right?
That's a little disappointing.
Yeah, no, I was doing mixed drinks. Matt Long was drinking canned beer. Yeah, but he's from Texas, so what are you gonna do? All right.
Yeah. Hey, whatever makes your boat float, right?
So what? So are you coming in 2 days early to the?
Yeah, I'll be there between Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, that's cool. I'm hoping the weather holds. Hey, by the way, I gotta get this quote out early. The Peanut Gallery sent you a quote.
Okay.
I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better. And that's from, I think a Greek philosopher named Plutarch. Sounds Vulcan or Klingon, whatever. Kapla.
Yeah. It definitely sounds something sci-fi. That's funny. Speaking of sci-fi,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the reason I was calling is I've been going back and watching old TV shows and just things that I enjoyed and, blasting through them, but noticing how many references there are to flat Earth and things. And way back as far as 2012, I'm noticing these things in regular TV shows.
Yeah.
And I found it, and you probably know this, but there's a new movie coming out called The First Man. And it's about Neil Armstrong.
Oh, I am.
I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
They got the balls to try this one.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, my very first clue, which was called The Empty Theater, talked about how there were no moon movies. The only movies that were even close that touched the space program at all, one was in 1983 called The Right Stuff, and the other was in 1996, I believe, which was Apollo 13. And then for the last 22 years, nothing. And now, because we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Apollo, they decide to release a Neil Armstrong story called The First Man. I mean, total A-list production with Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong. The question is, how much press are they going to give this thing? Because on a big screen, this thing is going to be in IMAX, right? This isn't like Gravity or Interstellar or something. You're going to put this on IMAX, and you're going to have a lot of people looking at this thing in high resolution. And they're going to be looking, going, wow, it looks pretty fake, man. They're not going to be, because they have to replicate the footage that was at the time. You can't just make it up. You can't put stars in the scene. You can't use tech that was never used. You've got to be authentic with it. So good luck.
Yeah, I'm just dying to see how they recreate the footage.
Yeah. I've never seen a good, the closest, best footage I ever saw, which is a recreation, and they didn't even use helmets, wasn't even a movie. It was the German band Rammstein, that heavy metal band from the 90s. Or Rammstein, either one. And they have a video out there on YouTube. You can watch it called We're All Living in America, where they replicated the palette, the color palette perfectly. They took an old factory and they blacked it out and brought in a whole bunch of heavy ash and bought the uniforms directly from the factory that made the outer suits. And it's flawless in that regards. And it just goes to show you how easy it is to do, to replicate that sort of setting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible.
Right.
Absolutely incredible.
So
I have a quote.
Yeah.
Regarding that.
Sure.
And this is, we all know. Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of a man's desire to understand.
That's beautiful.
The person who said that he also said, that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Neil Armstrong.
Okay.
Crazy. I love that quote. That other one, not that one, because it's fake. But
got it. Right on, man.
Yeah, well, crazy.
Hey, I hate to do this to you.
Now, shut up. I gotta go.
No, I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to throw it real quick. I was saying goodbye to my 18-year-old nephew who's going away to college, and talking to my 15-year-old niece, and she was telling me all about Shane Dawson and all this stuff, and how all these girls and all these kids, they all follow this guy, and that they were talking about flat Earth, and I mentioned, that he had talked about that, and she asked questions, and she's like, I'm going to talk to my friends, and dude, it's everywhere. It's spreading. It's absolutely everywhere. Like that sublime thing where nobody wants to admit it, but people are freaking talking about it.
Right. Oh yeah, like Spice Girls.
Yeah. I definitely don't have a Spice Girl.
No, I don't either. Tell me what you want, what you really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, my God. I love you, Mark. I love everybody out there. Sister. Oh, my God.
I know. I'm going to have to listen to that section again.
Was awesome.
I know.
Awesome. We got to get her in the chats with us.
I know.
Yeah, we got to get her in the chats with us. She'd be fun.
All right, I gotta pick up Canada first because they're calling in long distance. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, shout out to everybody. I love you.
All right.
All righty, bye, Mark.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Sorry, I had to cut him off. He was never going to stop. Just so you guys know, I wasn't being rude. That's what Mark does. He never says goodbye. He'd be terrible to go to church with because he'd be in the lobby forever. All right, Canada, we're going to pick you up because you're long distance. What is going on up in Ontario?
Not too much, Mark, but Zulu, Mark, it started raining as soon as you said at least it wasn't raining.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, that happened.
Are you catching smoke from the fires where you are up there?
Oh, no, not nowhere near the fires.
Okay.
We're like the east coast of the U.S., and then there's a whole nother east coast of Canada. So,
all right.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Okay, just checking because I saw it in Calgary and Edmonton, and it's down here in Seattle. We got a whole. It's just hazy. In fact, when I go out for some sun, I don't even say that anymore. I said I'm gonna go out for some haze.
Well, I shouldn't be laughing. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But you still got to go through Saskatchewan, and we all know the jokes of you can see your dog running away for 3 days.
Because it's so
out
flat
there on the prairies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
But I don't really have anything much, Mark. Just wanted to say hi. I've been up for 36 hours plus.
Why?
So I'm stupid work.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something like meth.
Yeah.
But it's which would have been fine. That's not right.
No, work obligations. It's one of those things you got to do like once or twice a year. That
got it.
Yeah.
So not a 4-day methamphetamine bender. So not that.
Oh no.
Okay, just want to clarify. Not that.
Yep. I don't do the pharmaceuticals or the whatever is chemical.
But you
I stick to natural.
Got it. I know what you're talking about because it's Canada.
Yep. Yes,
all right,
we all know we can blame Canada.
Right.
So
blame Canada.
Right, thanks, Mark.
It's not a real country anyway. We'll
shout
talk
out
soon, okay?
to,
go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, shout out to you, Mark. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, man.
And looking forward to the secret show tomorrow.
Right on. It'll be fun.
All right.
See ya.
Have a great night.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Who am I picking up? Let's pick up this one. 651, you're on the air with Strange World. What are we talking about?
Would you just wait? I'm on the phone, mother. Hi, Mark. Is this Mark Sargent?
Yes, it is.
This is Harvey Firestein calling. I'm calling from beyond the grave, and it's really weird. My mother and I, we were just sitting out there looking out by the gate, and I told her, I said, Ma, look, it's flat. She still doesn't believe it, and she's up this high. I don't get it. If I wasn't dead, I'd kill myself. Oh, my God. Now who's calling? Oh, it's Lucifer. He keeps bugging me. I don't get it. I go to one party. I get a little drunk. He thinks now he owns me. I don't understand. Ma, no, you can't go past the gate, Ma. No, I got to go, Mark. Have a nice day, and I love your show. That was brought to you by West Station Flat Earth News Talk. Wait for it. Okay, go.
Wes, seriously, so that was your thing? You were going to do, you did Harvey Firestein from Independence Day when he was talking to his mother. It's good. It's a good reference.
Yep.
It's good. I didn't, did he die?
Yeah, he died like 3-4 years ago.
Huh. I forgot.
Yeah. Actually, it might have been 2012. I'm not 100% sure. I guess Peanut Gallery can look that up real quick. Anyhow, this is what I had to say. I went and I found this PhD online who loves to do all these videos.
Right.
And he's a PhD in physics. And this is his description. I'm going to quickly read it. Hey, welcome to the domain of science. I'm Dominic Williams, and I make these videos. I love science, and I really like finding ways to explain it to others because learning something new is the best. And science, it has a lot of mind-blowing stuff in it. I have done a lot of quantum physics in the past. And this is the weird thing, this guy's supposed to be educated. I did a PhD in quantum device physics. I don't know, that just doesn't sound right. And work at quantum computers called D-Wave. As well as making these videos, I write children's books about science. Anyhow, Professor Astral Cat. I don't know what that means. Anywho, I want to get a hold of this guy. You're up for it, and if he's up, debate, baby.
If you can track him down and he has a real name and credentials, I'd be happy to debate him. But he's got to have a real name. I'm sorry, I've run into too many people over the years that say, "Oh yeah, I'll debate you anonymously." It's like, okay, so am I debating somebody with a master's or a PhD, or am I debating a janitor who just happened to be listening to my podcast?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'd be like debate me. That would not be cool.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'd be happy to do it. No worries. If you can track this guy down, and he's a real guy. Sure. So,
yeah, if I can get it lined up, that'd be awesome.
I have
all right. What is Peanut?
Peanut Gallery says this. He says, "He who is conceived in a cage yearns for the cage," and that's from some Russian guy. Absolutely. And by the way, he also says that Harvey Firestein's actually alive.
Get out of town! Mandela effect.
I know. Well, you mean the Mandela effect?
I read it. It said that he was dead.
Well, there you go.
Oh my goodness!
He did die in the movie Independence Day. But he is, as far as I know, he is not dead. So there you go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Maybe I read that wrong. Harvey Firestein.
No, he might not be dead.
That says it right. No,
again, Mandela effect.
Wow.
Definitely.
I'm telling you. I mean, we're talking like maybe 6 months. And last time I did, when I was back at the prison, and you were on the show, and I called in, and I did Harvey in the green room when you first started getting your little hold thing going on.
Right.
And that's when I found out that he said that he was dead. I'm like, oh, no shit.
Oh.
Wow.
Right.
Never mind. Right, he's alive and well.
Sorry. Hey, I gotta let you go. I'm gonna pick up one more short call before we bring on Jeffrey. Okay.
All right, Mark. Later.
Have a good one.
Bye. Yeah.
All right. Let's grab. Let's stick with the north. Let's grab River Falls, Wisconsin, 715 area code. I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes before we go to the break. What's going on?
Mark, Michael Borealis is my stage name. Hey. New Earth Administration. I'd like to have give a non-trivial breakdown of the book of Revelation and kind of answer the guy's question about doom and gloom coming on the wicked and all that.
Okay.
The original intent of God is to reverse the curse of Adam brought into the death he brought into the earth. Okay. That's why Jesus Christ came.
Okay.
Right? So the coming of Jesus Christ is not external, it's internal. He clearly said in Luke 17, they shall say, lo here and lo there. Believe them not, nor follow them. Right? He says the kingdom is within us. Okay, the reason the kingdom is within us is because the King of Kings is within us. The word apocalypse simply means an unveiling. The book of Revelation starts with, this is the revelation, the unveiling of Jesus Christ. So it's a spiritual book that I call the metaphorical oracle. And Revelation 1:10 and 1:3 and 22:10 state these things are at hand. They're spiritual realities that manifest as the Holy Spirit brings judgments on our soul, okay, to the winepress of his wrath. So we move deeper into his presence, or the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, illuminates more within us.
Cool.
Now, I want to blow away the satanic doctrine of eternal damnation.
You got 30 seconds, and then we're going to music.
Okay. I grew up Lutheran, used to believe in eternal damnation. The phrase isn't in the Bible. The phrase eternal punishment in Matthew 25 means the correction of the ages. The name hell comes from Scandinavian mythology. It was placed on the Greek word Hades. Here's the kicker. Revelation 20:14 says, and death and Hades shall be cast into the lake of fire. So I'll call back on some other show, and we'll elaborate.
Okay, thanks, man.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Take it easy.
All right. Okay, we're going to break, and then we're coming back with Jeffrey Grubb. So don't go anywhere.
Frequency Radio is your number one.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Major Kong. Major Kong. I'm ready to target the ICBM complex at Laputa. Switch all receiver circuits to CRM discriminators. What's cooking on the threat board? Nothing. Alright, tell you what you better do, old buddy. You better give Elmo and Charlie a flash, man. Bump everything up to condition written. Stand by the core on your base. Major Kong. Major Kong. Hey, what about Major Kong?
Clear and plain and coming through fine. It's great to be fine.
What about Major Kong? What's happened? You see the string in my leg, Scar. What about Major Kong? I never told you. Hey, what about Major Kong?
Welcome back to Strange World, part 3 of 4, and tonight is sort of a hybrid show. So the first hour we had calls, but as promised, the second hour we have Jeffrey Grubb, well-known intellectual and heavy-duty researcher, big-time academic, and again, one of the few people that can actually wear a hat size bigger than myself. Jeffrey, how's that for an intro? Jeffrey, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. It's very, very busy, but life is good.
Cool.
I can't complain one bit.
So you wanted to, before we get into the whole Kent Hovind thing, because you recently came out with a video and have challenged Kent Hovind to a debate, which seems to be trendy as of late. You wanted to bring up something else. Yeah, and but it's your hour. You can talk about whatever you want. So
sure, if you want to bring that up first.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it early.
Okay. I appreciate you bringing that up. I wrote an article. This is for geeky Christians, so I'll try to make it sort of user friendly to everybody.
Okay.
There's a problem in there's a lot of unsolved issues in Christianity.
Of course.
Like why is there evil? Here's a good one.
Right.
One is in the Bible. It talks about how certain people are chosen and others aren't, and that's always been people have had different theories. Some people have said that God, looked into the future and saw those who would choose them, and so He chose those.
Right.
That's what's called the Arminian view, and then there's what's called the Calvinist view, which is that no, God created souls and chose some and condemned others. Okay. And that view leads to a lot of a lot of anger. A lot of people really get, because it doesn't seem just or fair. It makes God seem like an absolute horrible tyrant.
Right.
But the problem is when you read the Bible, I come from the Arminian background, the first one, what's called the Wesleyan position in Christianity. But if you read the Bible, though, the Calvinist position is the correct one. It's very clear. There's, verses like John 15:16 that say, I didn't choose you, you chose me. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jesus is saying, you didn't choose me, I chose you. And there's all kinds of verses, stuff like that all over the Bible.
Right.
Acts 4:27-28, Peter is praying and telling Christ, God chose everybody, chose Pontius Pilate to do what he did, and basically orchestrated the whole crucifixion. So there's this real strong theme of predestination and what's called election, where God chooses some souls that permeates through Christianity. It's sort of it's really one of the most predominant themes in the entire Bible, but it's one nobody wants to talk about because the Calvinist view appears to be correct, but the Calvinist view appears to be absolutely horrible. Well, I wrote a paper which I think answers the question of why God only chose some on this Calvinist view. And the answer, I'm surprised. I mean, I've searched all over and I don't see anybody else has come up with this solution. Right. And it's right in the Bible. It basically involves the idea that God first created souls. Then he looked at all of them to see what their quality is like, to see if he was capable of putting his spirit in them, if they were, if they're the type of soul that could be like that. And then he determined which ones were such. And then based on that, then he elected and then predetermined. So election means you choose some, and then predestination means then you create a life for them.
Okay.
That's basically the solution I've come up with. And it's right. If you trace back certain concepts and different passages in Old English and see how they changed with different, the Bible didn't change. People's interpretation changed. For example, in Romans 8:28 and 29, it talks about how God has foreknowledge, and those he had foreknowledge of, he predestined. Mm-hmm. So there's a two-step thing. You first have foreknowledge, and then you have predestination. Right. Now, what's happened is literally everyone has interpreted that word foreknowledge to mean God looks into the future. It's like clairvoyance. I call it the clairvoyance. Right. So God is looking into the future in future telling, and then but the problem is that the word for and the word knowledge, the word for means from the beginning, and then knowledge means knowledge. So knowledge from the beginning. So why would somebody think that means knowledge from the future? It's a really mysterious thing that's happened. So the Bible, if you look at all the translations of Romans 8:29, they all use foreknowledge, except a couple like the NLV, which some Bible translations try to use like under 600 words and stuff to make it real simple. Different experiments people have done in translating. But so if you trace, so the Bible hasn't changed, but people's interpretation of this word foreknowledge has changed. If you trace the usage of it, you can trace, especially in with Old to Middle English, 1500s and so forth, you can see people interpreting that word foreknowledge differently. Instead of meaning knowledge from the beginning, meaning knowledge from the future. And that basically leads to this whole Calvinist interpretation where the word foreknowledge is misused. So basically, to get to the point here, what I do in this article, I've got a website called praiseandlove.net. That's my ministry website. And if you go to, people in the future, what you want to do is go to theology hash mark link at the top right, and go down to metaphysics, and you'll see an article called God's Pre-Election Knowledge of the Soul. But right now the article is right on the homepage. Anybody who signs on, you can see a huge August, September featured article, God's Pre-Election Knowledge of the Soul. And the article's there. It's it's technical because I wrote it for a seminary class that I took over the summer. But I mean, for all the, I know there's a lot of Bible geeks that, like myself, that are into flat Earth. So a lot of them are going to probably know a whole lot more about theology than me. And I think they'll recognize the significance of this article. This is a major unsolved problem for really ever since the resurrection of Christ, and it really got real heated in the late Middle Ages and into the Renaissance, and then of course in the Reformation. And, it's been a source of huge fights, because the Calvinist view, like I said, appears to be correct. I mean, it is correct. It's very plain that that's what the Bible's saying. But nobody knows how to interpret it because nobody wants to say God's choosing some, like he chose me, Mark, and not you. And, tough, deal with it. I mean, nobody
Right.
likes that. I mean,
Nope.
I mean, even Calvinists themselves are extremely uncomfortable with it. They say, we don't know what to do about it. That's what the Bible says. But it appears that people have missed one thing that happened in history. Like I said, this change in the interpretation of the word foreknowledge. And if you go back, reverse it the other way, as I say in this article, and go back to the way it was originally used, of knowledge from the beginning, then the whole problem goes away. You see that there was a two-step issue here where God first created the soul. He created all souls. It says in Colossians 1:16 and 17, it said God created all things. Well, it means he created all possible souls that can exist. And then he determined which ones were those which were going to be of certain quality. Then there's verses like in John where he says, Jesus knew from the beginning who would betray him. Well, it doesn't say Jesus knew from the future. It says from the beginning. There's only one beginning. So I mean, it's sort of this mysterious, quote unquote mysterious thing that has gone on. It's caused major wars and people just freaking out in Christianity. I don't know. I'm just really happy about it. And
cool.
So it's on my site, and anybody can go see it if they want. And
where can they go see it?
Oh yeah, so praiseandlove.net. It's right there on the homepage. Or for people in the future, when I take that link off the homepage. It's Theology Hash link, top right. Scroll, and then it'll pop up, and you'll see metaphysics link, and then go to the article God's prelection of the soul, prelection knowledge of the soul. And so it's sort of changed my entire view of all my theology and so forth, because I'm a pastor now. I have been for about a year and a half. And because when I first met you, Mark, it was
3 years ago.
Christian that long.
Yeah,
I was just starting school and so forth. And so now, it's just really, because this is really something that's bothered me for a long time. And it's just, to have such a simple, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to stretch things here at all. I mean, it really, you can see all kinds of scripture points to this, word usage, all kinds of things point right to it, philosophical concepts. It's not just like there's one, there's a whole bunch of evidence for this. And I basically spent the summer writing this, but I wanted to work on the article longer, but I had another class that started today, so I kind of had to end it because I don't have any more time. So I submitted it to a journal. We'll see if they'll publish it.
Nice.
I've got a big background in academic publishing from my philosophy teaching career that went for 13 years. Yeah. And I know that publishing is great in academia, but on the other hand, sometimes the good stuff won't get published or vice versa. So we'll see. It's there's a little bit of chance to it. So if it does or doesn't get published isn't really my concern. It's, I just felt that I was led by God, and that's really how he can do whatever he wants to do with this article. If he wants people to know about it or not. I didn't even think about mentioning this article until you and I were Skyping last night. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be on this show. Why don't I just mention this? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. So,
it seems to be more of a biblical theme tonight anyway, for whatever reason. Quite a few callers were into it. So who knows?
Probably not a coincidence.
No, I coincidence for me, and when you meet your friend at the grocery store. Outside of that, there are no coincidences.
I think there's zero, none.
Yeah. So, tell me, let's get into this because we got about 15 minutes to the break. Sure. Let's get into it. What prompted you to make your video about challenging Kent Hovind, and what does it entail?
Well, I've been kind of in a Kent Hovind binge lately. He's one of my favorite people in the world, and I've been looking at a lot of his pre-jail before I went to jail. A lot of that, the Creation Seminar series he made. That stuff is really good. I mean, he just has lots of answers for how to approach scientists and for a creationist or a Christian who wants to, apologetics on people and so forth. And it's just amazing. And I've been, all summer really, I've kind of been into him just in the background, and I'm doing some busy work or something. I'll have him playing. I've been ceaselessly amazed at his research. And then there's this weird thing about him being so crazy against flat earthers, which, on the one hand, it makes no sense. And on the other hand,
it makes
does
perfect
make sense.
Yeah.
And we all, I think I might not, it sounds like there's other people that have changed. I know that Rob and I think didn't Robbie also Celebrate Truth?
Celebrate Truth and Rob Skiba have both. Rob Skiba especially really, because remember, Kent was one of Rob Skiba's idols.
Yeah. Actually, Rob and I were talking on a YouTube comment about that the other day. And he was basically telling me, I understand, Jeff, you like Kent, but there's things you don't know, and I don't want to know all that stuff. I mean, if there's bad qualities about Kent, I really don't care. I'm not. I don't need to know. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to judge him either way anyway. We all have faults and so forth.
Yeah.
But and so I guess maybe there's been other people that have as well. But my idea here is that it's very clear that Kent is purposely trying not to debate the flat earthers. I mean, because Kent is not afraid to debate anybody, and he goes in for the kill.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that. I mean, I've been watching debates with him against biologists and stuff this summer. Some stuff I've seen before, some I haven't. And he just absolutely destroys people. I mean, it's almost you feel bad for the opponents.
Right.
So you're telling me now he's not going to go debate the flat earthers because they don't have their terms defined good enough? That's a complete joke. Yeah. I mean, to say, the flat earthers, they need to show me the map. Well, we all know flat earthers don't have a map. Well, you've got ideas. I made my own. Well, with I forgot the fellow's name. Man, it slips my mind. Anyway, it's the we call it the Jerusalem map. It's Zeticism Volume 4 of my video series on my flat Earth website. Is zeticism.com.
Got it.
It just goes to my YouTube channel right now because I'm in the middle of redoing that site. I want to redo Zeticism Volume 2 in my series I created. But I've got a whole bunch of other series I want to create as soon as I have time. In that series, I can go up to about 10 right now. I've got something in the Parhelix Circle. I want, the part of the sundog that goes around the entire sky. I want to, because a lot of people think that goes around the entire dome. It can't go around the entire dome because we're not. I don't think we're looking at the entire dome. You're always seeing about half of it, depending on where you are on the Earth.
Right.
But there's, I don't know. Anyway, that's another thing we can talk about in a few minutes. But anyway, back to Kent. So I don't know. It just is very obvious that he's trying to. So why would he be trying to avoid a debate? Is one question. Another question: why isn't he correctly and accurately discussing things with flat earthers?
Right.
Because Kent does not have a history for having bias.
Ever backing down from anything.
Yeah. Right. And it's got to be the case. I mean, if anybody. Okay, so I'm watching Kent Hovind all summer. He's got this thing called the Hovind theory, which is some of it's his own ideas and some of it's heavily borrowed from creationist ideas that existed before him, and basically is this biblical model of a round Earth and how you juxtapose spherical Earth with biblical principles like the waters above and so forth. There's waters above the stars and blah, and it works with the hydroplate theory, which is actually pretty good stuff. I've been trying to juxtapose a lot of the hydroplate theory with some flat Earth stuff, specifically my own flat Earth model, which is called the Zetetic Eye Gyroscope. As you already know, Mark. Right. So the idea's got to be that Hovind would have to renounce a whole bunch of his research. I mean, again, I might not be the first person to suggest this.
Yeah.
Probably 50 people before me, but specifically, he's got to renounce some of his very pretty convincing and pretty good work in what's called the so-called Hovind theory, which depends on the hydroplate theory. So basically, I think that Kent is lying. When he says that the flat Earth is a satanic trick and a government psyop or whatever, all this stuff he's saying, I think he's lying and he knows it. Yeah. And the proof is that he won't. Like I said in the end of my video that I made last week, I just finally, it was like on an impulse. I'm like, I listened to a Hovind video against flat Earth, and I was like, I'm sick of this. I've had, because I've been thinking all summer I could absolutely, do I want a public to say this? Sure, I think I would destroy Hovind in a flat Earth debate. I would use my own model. I said, okay, he wants terms defined. I got my own model, the Zetetic Eye Gyroscope, which I think explains the southern stars perfectly. I mean, I don't know if there's maybe I've been a little bit out of the loop. You know, I started flat Earth work in 2014.
Right.
It was real heavy till into 2016. I've been backed off a little because I've just been really heavy involved in ministry. And so there may be some other models that have come out that are really good that explain the southern stars. But when I exited, or sort of backed out a little bit about a year and a half ago, I remember there was nothing that I knew of that described the southern stars. I know that Zen has he used the Book of Enoch, and that the luminaries guide. Yeah, okay, that's great. The Book of Enoch's not a book of the Bible, so I don't take it that seriously. I mean, I understand why Zen does, because it's quoted in the Bible and so forth. Right. And Zen is Zen Garcia. He's the man. He does a lot of stuff. So, but I mean, I think that, like when I was on Patricia's show, that I turned that show into Syntheticism Volume 4 of my series, and I thought that really. I felt kind of bad because I kind of just I just really was like ready to just get the whole theory out, and I kind of just talked like crazy, and I felt bad for sort of taking over the show. But anyway, she didn't seem to be too upset.
No. She's a good sport. Yeah,
she said she loved the show. But anyways, yeah. So I'm like, man, he wants terms to define everything. I got my whole model. Here it is. I got a map. I got everything. Tear it apart. Just shred it to pieces. If the flat Earth is so stupid and ridiculous, he basically uses the same condescending language that he properly uses against the evolutionary theorists, towards flat earthers. Which that's because one has empirical evidence, the other doesn't. So I don't know why he's talking the same way towards evolutionists that he does towards flat earthers, because we have empiricism, they don't. The theory of evolution doesn't have empiricism, empirical information. So I'm like, yeah, here, if you want us to define everything, then I got it. I got my own model. You can have 3 months, tear it apart all you want. I'll be ready. I'll debate you anytime, any place, your rules, your channel, your moderator, anything. You can have twice as much time as me. I don't care. Whatever you want, I'll do. And I'm only going to define what is physically possible for me to define. If the ball earthers don't have a full picture of the Earth, then neither do I. So you can't tell me, if I don't have a map, that's fair game for me to say. Even though I do, if I said I don't, that's fair game for me to say, because neither do the ball earthers, the globies. So anyways, but I emailed him direct. I think I CC'd you on that, and I've been making comments on his channel. And
have you gotten anything from him? Any even blips?
No, not a single thing. And yeah, like I said at the end of my video, if flat Earth is so dumb, you ought to be able to come on, put your money where your mouth is. Come and destroy the flat Earth and destroy my silly little theory that I just invented in my own mind. Of course, it's strictly and completely empirical.
Yeah.
So, it explains why the stars turn in the southern sky, let alone, why they turn, why there's star trails in the northern and southern skies. It explains not only why there's those, concentric circles, which aren't perfect circles. They're, of course, they're ovals because of light refraction. And it not only explains all that, plus it explains why there's turning on a flat Earth model. It explains all this stuff, so I don't know. Anyway, but, to get a little bit, usually I don't bring science into it. I try to purposely make the Zetetic gyroscope model absolutely scientific, for the non-Christians, because as soon as you bring up God or anything or Bible, they just turn it off.
Right.
But God likes to use gyroscopes in creation. Look at all the spirits in the sky, or what are called the planets.
Right.
Look at there's gyroscopes are absolutely pervading nature, so that the whole cosmos would be a domed gyroscope spinning, where we're really just on one end of it. It makes a lot of sense. Now there's a couple empirical pieces that you put together to get to that point, but man, what I would say to Hovind is try to explain how it doesn't work, because it's all right there. So, but anyways, so there's the gist of it.
Oh, that is awesome. Again, if Kent or anyone that knows Kent is listening, in fact, I think you would. I'm not knocking Rob Skiba, of course. He's got some wonderful points, but I would enjoy watching you go up against Hovind probably more because you hit kind of a brain overload like I do sometimes, and where it's like you're just waiting for anybody. It's like, take a swing. I dare you.
Well, I've got to. Okay. First of all, yeah. Comparing me to Rob, I mean, Rob's different. We're different.
It's different. Apples and oranges.
And Rob, I got nothing but. I know everybody wants to call everybody shills and stuff, but I've been watching Rob a long time, and man, his stuff is great. I love it. But one thing though, I mean, I've got an academic background. I taught for 13 years. Still do a little bit here, some adjuncting work, but in that setting, teaching philosophy, you really learn how to present controversial theories or ideas, and also respond to all the tricks people use to try to attack the theories. So I mean, So when I became a conspiracy theorist in 2005. Because I discovered 9/11 and all that, man, it made conspiracy theory really work well, because I could apply all this stuff I'd been using in teaching right to conspiracy theory. And all the tricks people are doing. People come and they have their own agenda. They first make up their own story. They try to straw man you and then bring up red herrings and the whole on and on, which I know a lot of the flat earthers are quite versed in now as well. With flat earth is much more. I mean, it's the first conspiracy theory since 9/11. Well, maybe I was going to say the first one that's truly empirical, but I don't know if was one. There's a couple little things like
little things, but no, this is the only big thing since then.
And this one's far more. I mean, the 9/11 got very scientific, right? Especially with some of those professors putting out booklets and so forth. But flat Earth is just to have the amateurs out there doing what they're doing. Right. I mean, we all know that some of the amateur videos don't work. I mean, but that's the way the scientific process works. You put out some stuff and it goes away, but some stuff holds, and it's just amazing to see. Though it could be the case, I don't know what'll happen to the whole flat Earth thing, but there could be a time in the future where people look back and say what an amazing time it was, where you had the academic establishment turning their back on this, and then an army of amateurs absolutely just tearing it up, and with hunger, and really getting to with a real pure scientific, challenging each other, coming out with video posts.
Just we got 30 seconds to the next break, so just let you know.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's just really, people got to sort of delight in the whole thing that's going on and not be afraid of the ridicule. And, because you're absolutely right. There's an army of amateurs. I mean, that without any even coaxing, people just ran to the beaches almost immediately. That was like one of the first things they did. It's like, we're going to the beach, start with our cameras. Anyway, we're going to break. We're with Jeffrey Grubb. We're going to come back with him for one last segment. And I don't know, maybe we'll take our calls, or maybe we won't. So everyone that's hanging on the line so far, hang tough. We'll see what we can do. Be back in a minute. So we have
no hate, no hype, no fear. We are DFR, your protection from deception.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 4 of 4. Yes, that was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album, Night and Day. We are on with Jeffrey Grubb from Zeteticism.com, and in fact, I was just checking out his website during the break. And Jeffrey, let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel and a video that you put out a little while ago that you would like to see get more attention.
Yeah. So 30-second intro. So I invented when I, like you, Mark, and so many others, when I bumped into the flat Earth. I mean, I was already a seasoned conspiracy theorist, and when I hit, I was like, yes, why in the world didn't I see this before? Blah blah blah. And so, but when I hit it, I really, really had a deep desire. For about 2.5 years, I worked on it, and I just really wanted to know I wanted it proven. And I want to know how it worked and everything. And that turned into this model called the zetetic eye gyroscope. And like I was saying earlier, I think it's, well, I mean, you can watch for yourself. Go to zeteticism.com, ZETETICISM.com. Goes right to my YouTube channel, which has all my videos.
Right.
But it's that's what I came to by looking at the empirical data of what we see in the Earth, looking at the sky and sundogs and so forth. This is what I came to. So it's not like I had an agenda. It's just this is where the data came. And one video is Zetetism Volume 2. I'm going to redo. It's just not. I've got a whole bunch of new data I want to put in and stuff. But that's the one where I came up with the sundogs idea, which that really kind of took off. But nothing really else about the model took off. No, but I think the strongest evidence of all, not only just for flat Earth, for zetetic Earth, but also for this specific model even, is this video I put out called Zeteticism Volume 5, Zetetic Water and Sunset Light Reflection Patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I put it out a little over 2 years ago, and it's part of this series that I made. It was the last one. I've got, like I said in the first half hour, I've got a number of others parts of the series I'm ready to make, including redoing Volume 2. But anyway, zetetism. Okay, so the zetetic eye gyroscope model involves two things that I think flat earthers don't like, and which is why the model hasn't gotten more popular. Now, what flat earthers like is they want a perfectly flat plane, no nothing, no ripple. I mean, roughly, it's a it looks like a quarter, or something. Right. But the model that I have is embowed. It's sort of like there's that verse in Job where it talks about the edges of the earth plate going up, sort of like the wax stamp. Mm-hmm. So mine is like it's not a concave earth model in any way. It's completely different than that, but it does have the earth plane sort of bowing a little bit. Now, when you introduce that bowing, then you can explain, well, in my opinion, I know there's so much talk about perspective and why don't we see the sunlight and so forth. But I mean, you can explain why light is refracted out of view when the sun is a certain distance away if you have an embowed earth plane, because the light will refract down when it gets to a certain point in the distance via perspective. Mm-hmm. And so instead of the light refracting upward, so you see the sun higher than it actually is, you'll see it actually lower than it actually is. Well, what that means is then it goes below the horizon. Well, that's called the sunset. So anyways, so let me but moving on to Zeteticism Volume 5, if you analyze, one of the first things that we all saw when we all became flat earthers, 5 years ago or whatever, is the sunset, this idea that why when the sun's setting does the water reach all the way from the sun to the beach? And that's a good question.
Right.
But the ball earther can always come back and say, well, it's maybe, that's just the way the sun goes and there's not enough curvature, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't shrink, it doesn't you should have just light reflected more by the sun, not all the way to the beach. In other words,
right.
Forgive me for my cat meowing in the background.
That's okay.
And I closed the door to lock, so I wouldn't wake up my family talking, and locked her down here. But anyways, so what I did is I'm like, okay, well, let's analyze the shape of sunset patterns, not just the fact that the light goes from the sun to the beach, but let's look at the shapes, because you should have the same exact shape all the time. Right, which should be sort of like an inverted triangle,
right?
Where the two, you have the point, the nadir point, the top pointing down, and then the two sides. Anyway, it's hard to explain, but it'd be a triangle where the point is down, and then the two other points are basically on where the sun is when the sun is setting into the water of the ocean.
Okay.
That's, and if you get something like what I did, is I'm a drummer, so I took a cymbal and I just put a lighter behind it and had it setting behind the cymbal, and that it makes exactly that pattern. Okay, but the problem is it's exactly the opposite pattern that it makes, that the sun makes typically, say 9 times out of 10 or whatever, and 9 times out of 10 sunsets. Where we all know that the sun is, the light pattern is the smallest out at the horizon, then it gets bigger as it reaches the beach. Okay, well, some people might say, well, that's because of perspective. Fine, that's great counterexample. The problem is, if you can do all kinds of experiments over concave surfaces and have a lighter, set behind the concave surface and then film it, and it never forms that shape. It always forms the opposite shape, where so in other words, the light pattern is exactly shaped the opposite how it should be for a ball Earth. It's hard to explain this without having diagrams and so forth. Sure. But that's the best way. That's the best way to put it succinctly and tersely here. Is the light pattern, and you always want to focus on the light right at the point when the sun is setting, when the ball of the sun is, quote, going, into the water, unquote. And that's, at that point, you should have a very specific light pattern for a concave Earth, but you always get the opposite of what you'd expect. What you get is exactly what you would expect if there's a small amount of embowing on a flat Earth zetetic plane. And now that's the first issue. The second issue is there's also different patterns you get. Now, wait, why would you get different patterns? Because if you always have the sun setting behind a concave surface, that means then that you always have to have exactly the same pattern. You can't have completely different patterns. One time it's a perfect line, one time it's a triangle shaped one way, one time it's triangle shaped the opposite way, and so forth. But that's what you get. So what does that tell us? What it tells me, I did all the different experiments in this video. This is about 5. And what you get is the zetetic plane, when it has embowment, only has embowment in one way. It's perfectly flat in one way, and then it's embowed in the other. Sort of like if you took a piece of paper and started to roll it up, and you just got a teeny little bit into it, and you just have the sides going up a little bit. That's how my model predicts empirically how the flat Earth, or let me say zetetic plane is. So it's perfectly flat in one direction, but embowed in another. Now, the thing is that the different sunlight pattern, all the different, I chart out, I think, 9 different sunlight patterns right when the sun is setting in the video. No, it was 8 in the video. And each one of those you find in this exact zetetic shaped plane that I'm describing in my model, zetetic high gyroscope. And so the big story is that this is truly damaging to heliocentrism, obviously, to use the sun worship phraseology. And second of all, it does point to not a perfectly flat, quarter-like or penny-like Earth plane, but that there's some kind of bowing a little bit. I don't know to what degree, but probably on the degree of a circle, but not, but only a small fraction of a circle. So from a distance, it would look like relatively like the penny, or if you're looking at from a big distance. So anyway, that's that video. I just think you have to. If I encourage people to go watch the video, it's be much easier to watch it because all the diagrams are there. It's 23 minutes long.
Yeah. So where did you get the footage for the 23 minutes?
Oh, some of it's my own, and some of it is I just grabbed from sunset footage on YouTube and stuff. But a lot the experiments I did all myself. You can see right there in the what is it, the image or whatever for the YouTube video itself. You can see me putting the lighter behind the symbol there. But I mean, another thing is you'll see on that the front advertisement for the YouTube channel is why you see a picture of the sun setting and there's no reflection on the water there. Right. How can there be no reflection? The sun is still clearly above the water, has not, quote, gone into the water, unquote, but there's no reflection. And then there's a picture next to it where there's a reflection, which looks like a pyramidal triangle. That's the word we're looking for, the pyramidal triangle from the peak of the pyramid at the sun to the beach.
Right.
And then that's what you can't have on a ball, a ball Earth cannot have that shape. And then anyway, you see right there in the video. So it's just, I just think it's incredibly powerful. I'm not asking people to agree with my model. I mean, my model I just created for me, really. I wasn't I didn't expect to, be on, Tom Brokaw or something, like they just changed the world or something, even though I think the evidence is that powerful for it. But I didn't obviously, I've been a conspiracy theorist a long time. So I know that, no matter how much evidence there is for the moon landing being fake and 9/11 being an inside job, it's still, you've got the masses that just believe whatever. It doesn't matter how much evidence, they're just going to believe whatever the herd thinks. So I get that. But I just made the model for me. So I'm not asking people to do what you want with my model. But the bigger than that is that these sunlight patterns are an incredible problem for heliocentrism. If you scroll up in my videos as well, there's another one, which I'm not trying to toot my own horn like I'm special, but I think I'm the first person that came out with this. I introduced it the first time on the Veritas show. Mm-hmm. The idea that when, if you go to Rocky Mountain National Park, the stars are so bright, it's amazing.
Right.
And then the next day you can take a plane over at night over those same mountains and you look out in the sky and the stars, they're so dim you can hardly see them.
Right.
Now, I don't know if I've talked about this on your show before or not, Mark, because a couple of years ago I brought that up and I made 2 videos on this on zeticism.com.
Mm-hmm.
That is death to heliocentrism. That cannot happen. I know that Cliff High, the Webbot guy, you know who that is?
Yep.
He came out with of all people, he's an anti-flat earther big time. Mm-hmm. And as anti-flat earthers do, they typically come out with crazy, weird, bizarre, garbage theoretical information. He said, well, the reason that happens, I don't know if he just thought of it himself or he saw the video I made on it, because I made a video on it a couple of years ago saying, if you go to Rocky Mountain National Park and the stars dim and then you go above it in a plane, the stars get brighter and then you go above the mountains in a plane, the stars are so dim you can't even see them. That can't happen. That's impossible.
Right. Done
deal. Heliocentrism is dead in every single way. Well, Cliff High came up with the idea, with a thinning atmosphere, you should, there's less light for the to interact with the incoming light from stars because there's less air, so there's less to see. And I'm like, okay, that's a curious theory. Then why are all the telescopes up on the mountains then? Because you're seeing the stars best from the most dense air, right? like on the Mississippi Valley or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever, Death Valley.
Or
no, you'd want to be in the real humid area, which we all know that's not how it works. You need the thinnest air to see the stars best. That's why they put the astronomers for telescopes on mountains in Argentina and so forth. Yeah. So anyway, I put out a second video 5 months ago refuting. I don't name him in the video, but I quote him. You can hear the quote of him saying it. And it was just I'm glad he came up with the objection so I could come up with the second. But anyway, that's another one of those things that is just absolute death to helio. There's nothing astronomers can do about that. It's done. And also that does kind of, I don't know what that does if that's simultaneously evidence for flat Earth, but there's something funny about that. I don't know what that is about. Stars that sort of gives a hint to what stars are. We can all look into, I've got a telescope and I've got a pretty big one actually that I've acquired over the summer as a gift. Mm-hmm. And all the stars, like Hovind himself probably says, they all just look like a point or a ball of light. It's real hard to, if you got the big mother lode telescope, supposedly we can get some detail and so forth, Hubble and so, but that's hard. It's not really scientific information because that's just a couple people getting access to that. I'm not going to say it's false or whatever, but it's
very limited.
I could say, sorry,
but it's very limited. Not many people have access to that stuff.
Yeah, it's just not scientific information is where we all can get our backyard telescopes and all verify something. Not where there's a couple people in the government and a couple labs and universities that can use it on super expensive rented time and blah blah blah. So, but anyway, that's just another. I don't know. That gives us a clue about stars. You've got that spotlight theory. Do you still have that? You still hold the spotlight theory of the sun, Mark?
It varies now because now I think that it's more complex than that. we can only describe things in the terms that we know. And initially I thought, well, a spotlight, a directional light source instead of an omnidirectional light source. Mm-hmm. And I still believe that, but now I think there's more to it. Now I think it's I hate to use the term software because that's the most complex stuff we have right now, but some sort of instanced sun where it is it could be unique to a geographical area based on high end programming. I'm just not sure. Why?
Well, the stars. I mean, I'm not suggesting. Somebody will maybe quote me and say, "Oh, Grupp said that the stars are spotlights," but I mean, they kind of act like how else could they have this powerful beam of light down on the Earth's surface and then getting brighter as you go to Rocky Mountain National Park, and then they dim and you can hardly see them in a jet plane way above the Rocky Mountains. So I mean, I don't know.
Which would be perspective. You're just looking at that light source from a different angle,
right?
Yeah.
So that's just those are clues that I think whoever can figure out the moon is, I think, gonna make big strides. Let me just give a couple ideas of what.
Sure.
Okay, so sundogs. That was sort of a big moment when I came out with that Zeticism Volume 2 video, which showed how really Zeticism Volume 3 I think is the one that just drop dead nails sundogs as being reflection off of a dome. Because you can go watch the video, but you can go look at a building and the parhelia of the sundog is in the shade. How can that? That's the academics' view of sundogs is dead. Or what are called parhelia is dead at that point, absolutely dead. And so then what do? It's an incoming concentration of light off a concave surface with like a what y'all do with your magnifying glass or something, or I show a guy with a satellite dish melting or burning things, and that's essentially what's going on with a sundog, but not to anyway. So the
sundogs and the other stuff. No. You were continuing. Sundogs, and there was something else you wanted to go into.
I forgot.
Sorry, you were also one of those guys. Because it's been a while since we talked. You're also one of the guys that first, if I remember, you were the first one to put the lighter under the salad bowl type thing in your early stuff, and you also were the first one to say, look, the light is not coming just from the sun. It's coming from the air around the sun. Basically, if it was just coming from the sun, people would not be backlit at all. Was that you?
Yeah. I think there was a bunch of stuff that, if I know what you're saying, I think so. But we want in flat Earth studies is not just attacks on the heliocentric model, but we want absolute proofs of some kind of a flat Earth model. We don't need to have the whole model worked out, but I mean, some of the stuff that we're talking about tonight, and I know there are other things like you're talking about the vacuum force,
right?
Ripping out the atmosphere and so forth.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of these things are really. I mean, the flat Earth community just has to stay their ground and be ready to be laughed at, just like so many other people were, great scientists were in the past. Before it could take the public 100 years to get used to this idea. But the evidence though is part of it is that you have to accept also then that NASA is part of a huge. You can't just accept the flat Earth. You have to accept a massive. You have to become an all-out conspiracy theorist, which I don't know what's so difficult about that. I mean, with the way governments act and how all the flags are similar, and you can go on and on and on through all kinds, moon landing footage and stuff. But I guess that involves such a paradigm shift that is difficult. People want to think that the world is actually random. And that there's not an evil government behind all the governments controlling governments. So that's, I think, the biggest hurdle for flat earthers is that right there. That
the conditioning of the general population is so thick.
Well, you have to accept flat Earth. You have to really accept that many other hardcore conspiracy theories are correct as well, like moon landing fake and so forth. So it's just too much. So you can throw any evidence you want at certain people, And like the video I have in my what's that guy, Mr. the Flat Earther?
Got to be more specific than that.
He's one of the ones that's been around for a long time, Mr.
Not Eric DeBay.
No, hang on. I'll Mr. Thrive and Survive.
Oh yeah, Thrive and Survive. Sure.
He came out with that idea that the sun moves in the wrong direction, and the sky should come in from up high and then lower through the day, and then go back up high again. And I did that experiment in my basement and put a video out on it on November 2, 2016, called "Axial Earth Globe Spin Reveals Absolute Empirical Proof that Heliocentrism is Fiction."
Right.
I mean, that right there. What do you do? I mean, I had, before I shut the comments down, because a lot of my videos I've shut comments down because I just don't feel like monitoring them, because everybody comes in and just spreads fake information.
Yep.
As we all, you probably don't know anything about that, Homer. But
I know what you're talking about.
There, it's just, I don't know. We basically have something like this is like a Building 7 or moon landing footage that vanished or whatever, that was lost. So what do flat earthers do with all this? I mean, what does Kent Hovind do with some of this stuff? I mean, that's what I'd like to ask him in a debate. I don't know, but maybe Hovind. So you said a bunch of other people have challenged him?
Well, not a bunch. I mean, but everybody's talked about him. Once he came out against Flat Earth, that's when things kind of shifted for us, because it seemed really odd. And I know part of it was because, okay, he got out of prison and he doesn't want to, he's already on shaky ground. He doesn't want to embrace Flat Earth. No different than Alex Jones' team, that asked me, they couldn't do a Flat Earth show because they were afraid of the backlash. And the media would jump on Kent Hovind and say, okay, not only did he just get out of prison, he's totally lost his mind. But the enthusiasm that he's gone after Flat Earth is surprising. So a lot of people have made videos against Flat Earth. The challenge is, though, I mean, lots of people have challenged him, but the one which was, again, not coincidence, was when Rob Skiba came out recently and said, no, when my idol called, because he was calling Rob out. That's what was so surreal about it. And I mean, we've got 3 minutes till the end of the show. If you want to put your formal challenge out now, please, by all means. Yeah.
Then I want to say one more thing about another topic. So my name's Jeffrey Grubb, athleticism.com, and please, somebody who's got the ability to get directly in contact with Kent, put this in front of him. I would assume he's seen it, that people have put it in front of him, but please do so directly, because if Flat Earth is so easy, is so stupid, and it should be incredibly easy to make me look like a complete fool. So why don't you have some fun and do it, Hovind? So I'm ready.
Okay.
Another thing is, one thing that Flat Earthers have to work on, I think, is this shrinking sun. I put out a video. I mean, there's a lot of footage we can see the sun shrinking right at sunset or sunrise, and it shrinks at different. Sometimes there's some footage where it doesn't have much change at all, and somewhere it has huge change. And the explanation for that is because if you're right over, say, one of like the Tropic of Capricorn or whatever, like say you're in Florida or in the Caribbean, you're going to have the view of the sun that you have is going to be much less arced, so you're going to have much more sun shrinkage and so forth on looking at sunsets. That's why that video I have out called 5 Minutes of Shrinking Sun Footage, I start off with some footage from Tampa, and the sun shrinkage is just unbelievably dramatic. It's huge. But then other footage from way up in northern areas and so-called northern areas, you don't have nearly as much because you're measuring the sun on an arc. So this change of the size of the sun is something that flat earthers really need to. I've done some work. I don't have the proper equipment. I was trying to with a regular cell phone measure sun shrinkage and so forth, and I had some success, but I kind of gave up because see, we got there 1 minute. But anyway, that's just another one of those issues that could be a drop dead proof. It's just really, if somebody's got to show that they're filming the sun without glare. And if we find out that the sun doesn't, if you find some footage where it doesn't have shrinkage, that doesn't mean anything, because you could be measuring its arc. You know, like you're looking at you're whirling a ball or rock on a string from the middle. It's doesn't have any change in its shape.
Right.
But if you're right under it, from when it's furthest away to the nearest, it's going to have a lot of change in shape. So there's so many details to look into that.
Cool.
So anyway.
We have been speaking with Jeffrey Grubb. Jeffrey, throw out your channels and anything you want to do. Quick.
Yeah, praiseandlove.net is my ministry site, and zeteticism.com is where my zetetic flat earth information is. And Kent Hovind, I'm ready to debate. Let's go.
Right on. Thank you, everyone, for calling. And thank you, Jeffrey. Hang on the line with me just for a minute. And that's it. We'll see you next week. Same flat time, same flat channel.
It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here representing not only